Alright everyone, if you look at what the Libertarians have been up to, and by that I mean the Libertarian Party as a partisan corporate body as opposed to the ideology, it no longer really resembles actual libertarianism, and I think I know why. And this takes off of the actual success of Gary Johnson in the last election. Gary Johnson broadly expanded the Libertarian coalition, getting more votes by far than any other candidate, despite the fact that he literally broke down into baby speak in an interview, didn't know where Aleppo was and brushed it off as though it didn't matter, and largely made a fool of himself. But Bill Weld successfully corrupted the Libertarian Party and got them used to money. See, the Libertarians as a party, again, not as an ideology. I'm broadly libertarian too, but I'm a real libertarian, which means that I have a plethora of views, and because I'm not running for office, I don't have to amplify or de-amplify any of them to appease people. The Libertarians in 2016, the LP, with Bill Weld jumping aboard, bringing in millions into the party, and again, honestly doing a good job at least of advertising the fact that this party existed, the Libertarian Party realized that there were a huge number of disaffected voters. Now, the Never-Trumpers coalesced behind broadly other GOP figures. They never really mobilized against Trump in the electoral sense so much as the we're standing this out for ideological reasons because Orange Man bad sort of thing. But with the Democrats, there was a huge resistance to Hillary Clinton. You had a messy primary in which Bernie Sanders lost handily. He would have lost, by the way, regardless of what the DNC did with the debates, with the primary schedule and stuff. Everyone wants to blame, oh, evil, crooked DNC screwed Bernie Sanders. That's a joke. Bernie Sanders screwed himself by being an unpalatable, unlikable fuckwit. When the Libertarian Party realized, hey, a lot of these people, they're not going to vote for Hillary Clinton. We'll get them to protest vote for us. So what they did is they amplified the aspects of Libertarian Party mentality that generally appeal more to the left. So instead of saying, hey, we need to repeal all gun control and do away with more taxes, they ignored that. They still have those views, but they decided to ignore them in favor of saying, well, we want to support open borders more than Democrats do, which I've argued is not a libertarian position, at least in the ideological sense, but it is one that the LP has taken up in their corruption. They got many, many millions of votes. In some states, approaching double digits. Specifically New Mexico with Johnson's home state, a few of the other western states, the Libertarians did very well, historically outpacing every other third party or independent run in modern history. Maybe Ross Perot counts, I don't know exactly. They're doing it again. So Joe Jorgensen comes out and praises tech platforms for censoring the dangerous white supremacists. This is a grift, dude. Joe Jorgensen is just trying to expand the Libertarian coalition because they realize there are more disaffected leftists than there are disaffected right-wingers. See, the right-wingers have their candidate. They have their incumbent. They have Trump. The broad Republican coalition is rock fucking solid. Trump has more in-party support than Reagan had. He is top dog when it comes to in-party politics. He's really solidified the GOP. Well, if the Libertarians run on a platform of we need to do more away with guns and taxes, they're not going to pick away at anyone on the Republican Party. They all support Trump very, very much. Huge enthusiasm. But there's no enthusiasm for the Democrats. So all of those Bernie bros, really, they're not really solidly behind Clinton. Jorgensen realizes, hey, we can get millions of dollars and we can get a lot more votes. It's definitely a good political strategy. It's just a little bit weird. It's weird to see someone who claims to fight for liberty and support libertarianism, classical liberalism you could call it in a more broad sense, praising tech censorship, because of course if Joe Jorgensen were being honest, she would oppose this. A libertarian cannot support that kind of censorship. The muff-free country, it's a private platform, it's a private business thing, breaks down really badly when you actually pick through and look at what it really is. A vertical monopoly created largely by government interventionism. And when you have such a vertical monopoly, you can't possibly construe it as being acceptable that there would also be censorship for ideological reasons under established law, number one, but under the Constitution as well, number two, with equal protection. All U.S. citizens should be able to utilize the services and talk to the figures that are platformed by such things as Facebook and Twitter. They platform the USGS, which taxpayers pay for. The Libertarian would say, well, it shouldn't exist. Okay, but it does. And for equal protection and judicial reasons, you would need to provide equal access to them. And the idea of censorship at large, by the way, has never really fit in with a pro-liberty stance. Whether it's coming from a private entity or not makes absolutely no difference. especially when these same vertical monopolies effectively prevent competitors from entering the market. That sort of monopolistic practice is not libertarianism. It's not capitalism in any broad sense either. It's corporatism. It's a corrupted form of socialism more than anything else. It's an attempt by government to intervene in a private marketplace, or what would be a private marketplace, in order to prevent anything outside of the monopoly from thriving so that it can keep getting money from that monopoly. Only if you had a large-scale era of trust-busting and anti-monopoly legislation could you possibly reduce it back to a free enough market to say that such censorship wouldn't possibly violate equal protection. I've been saying this now for a number of years. By the way, Jorgensen apparently got bitten by a bat, had to be like tested for rabies, I think, and shit. Bitten by a bat, had to miss a campaign rally, which is, you know, the funniest fucking shit ever. Mentioning that on Happy Homelands yesterday, it's like, well, it is 2020, Ramsey says, and it's definitely true. So no, praising corporate censorship and libertarianism are over here and over there. But I do understand why particularly the LP would delve into such a thing, because it worked in 2016. It worked really, really well. If you could take that same broad base coalition from 2016 and add another layer onto it, the LP would definitely crack double digits in the numbers. It would probably be eligible in the subsequent election for the debates. They should already be at the debates. It's a large and powerful enough party that had enough of a showing last year, so I think technically it should qualify anyway. But they always change the rules slightly in each election and make sure it's just two boring puppets up on stage usually. Well, this time around, the Libertarian option, ironically enough, is a Republican dude who still does the Jesus thing once in a while. Because that's not censorship. The idea that corporations... And by the way, Jorgensen specifically praising the removal of All Lives Matter from Facebook, that is not racist. No reasonable person considers that to be a bigoted statement. The fact that some people that use it in a bigoted manner does not mean that it itself is a problematic statement at all. And even if it were, it should still be allowed. That would be a libertarian position, speech-wise. That's about all. Peace out.